In this video, we'll be covering three major differences between colonist European culture and Native Americans. The first being the technological differences between the two, followed by their religious differences, and finally, their views on land ownership. Native Americans were impressed by European technology, in particular metal objects such as kettles, knives, guns, and farm tools. Native Americans also marveled over European books and the ability of Europeans to communicate with people far away through a written language. Europeans took advantage of this to assert their superiority. In one instance, Europeans used compasses and telescopes to astonish the natives. Christian missionaries consulted almanacs to find out when eclipses might occur and then predicted those events to potential converts to demonstrate Christian knowledge of the natural world. Indians also used their knowledge of nature to impress Europeans, as when they identified native plants of medicinal value. Many European colonists arriving in the New World were dominantly Christians. They were from Catholics all the way to Puritans and Quakers. When they first met with the Native Americans, though, they couldn't figure out what their religion was. English colonists presumed that they had no religion, thereby causing them to mistrust the natives. But they did believe in a creator of the world. But their belief systems was more tied with nature and the land around them. Their belief system was in the respect of the land and the animals that graze it, so that they may be in peace and harmony with them. During the time period in which the Europeans were settling in the New World, there were some different ways Europeans viewed ideals that Native Americans living there had. One ideal that was viewed differently between the Europeans and natives was the land. First, the natives' view. The natives had already inhabited this land long before the Europeans arrived. The natives already had a sort of system that worked and had not changed until the Europeans came over. The way the natives lived on land was like the old saying, possession is 9/10 of the law. This meant that if someone was living on a piece of land, it was theirs, no ifs and or buts about it. The only way that land was free game was if it was vacant. If a native wanted land, but there was already a person living there, they would have to wait until that person died. The Europeans had a different view on land. The way that the Europeans structured land owning was through money. An individual had to pay money in order to get land unless the land was vacant. After a person claimed land, they could then sell it to others. When a person was to buy land in Europe, it would be documented with a deed, and it was signed giving the ownership of the land to the buyer. Now, with the way those things were set up in Europe, it would cause issues with the natives later on. Europeans thought the natives had the same view of land as they did, but they did not. Europeans were mostly concerned with power and money, and that was how society worked. The natives were more into just living and not being wasteful or hurtful to the land that was given to them. So when the Europeans came over with money for land, the Indians took whatever they were given without understanding they were actually giving up land. This caused issues later on because the natives were made to leave the land when they were still living on it, and it contradicted what they were accustomed to. Also, the misunderstanding would cause the natives to always be cautious of the Europeans and have conflict with them.